Farmer Destruction Duran fighting Benji Gomez, Badbeat 12, March 28th. Before, I was a submission-heavy fighter where, you know, I'd like to take my guys in deep water grappling. You know, recently, man, I've been training with a lot of stand-up fighters, a lot of good guys, a lot of UFC veterans. So they've really changed my outlook on how I'm going to approach the fight game. Before, guys knew, don't go to the ground with this guy. Now you got to worry a lot more about my stand-up as opposed to my ground game, and vice versa. Just depending on where your weakness is, you know, just look to be dragged to wherever your weakness is. The feeling is definitely a feeling of accomplishment, just due to the fact that, you know, I got guys that on an everyday basis are beating my ass. You know, I'm the littlest guy in sparring every day, so, you know, it's only making me a more durable fighter. You know, I got guys 170, 160 pounds, you know. I walk around at like about 150, so, you know, you got all these guys just beating me down every time. But, you know, it's definitely a feeling of accomplishment being able to go in there and hold your own with, you know, a guy from, you know, world-class, you know, kickboxing, or, you know, world-class boxer, UFC veteran, whatnot. So, you know, it's definitely something that I feel really accomplished with. The thing about the 125-pound weight class is that it's more of my natural weight class. You know, you got guys that are smaller than me and some guys that are, you know, just the same height, reach, length, you know, and whatnot. But, you know, like I told my training partners, my managers, I'm not close to the 135-pound division. You know, if the opportunity, you know, arises and, you know, everything was right and, you know, the stars align correctly, I'll take it at 135 as well. But, you know, 125 for now is going to be my home, and the weight cut's a little bit harder, but you know what? I can do it. It's not that big a deal. But it's definitely nice fighting guys that are, you know, my size and sometimes smaller than me, thinner than me, lighter than me. So it's definitely somewhat of an advantage. But at the end of the day, it's going to be skill set, heart, and determination that determine who's going to win that fight. My weight cut is actually going a lot better than it did last time. Last time was my first time making, I think it was 126. This time it's actually going a lot better. You know, I have a dietitian that's actually taking over and telling me what to eat, what not to eat, and then I got my wife cooking it up, you know, the right way. So, you know, this time around, I think it's going to be a little bit easier to make the weight. I train at Total MMA Studios, Tustin, California, All In MMA, Eddie Chaw, you know, a lot of the UFC guys that go there, Ernest Chavez, formerly Badbeat 155-pound champion. You know, I train with all these guys, and training's going good, man. Before, I would get all my training in one place, you know, and it's not to take anything away from anybody, but, you know, each one of my gyms has their specifics that, you know, their details that are taking me to the next level in specific areas. I also have a strength and conditioning gym, Pledge Strength and Conditioning out in Paramount. It's a veteran-owned and operated, so I got these veterans that are pushing me every other day in my strength and conditioning, like literally pushing me to like try and make me throw up. They want to just push me to my limits, and being the only professional, you know, athlete out of that gym, it has its perks just due to the fact that, you know, these guys get to spend more private time with me and push me a lot harder than they're able to push their normal clientele. EJ making that transition from Badbeat, you know, BAMMA USA, it's motivating just due to the fact that, you know, I've told everybody this since day one, you know, since I was an amateur, you know, but Badbeat is a huge proving ground to get to the next level, and I tell that to a lot of people. It's top promotion in California, period. But, you know, to see a guy like EJ start from the bottom, I mean, we started training. I can't say I started training when he started training, but we definitely started training really hard and started focusing stuff, you know, together once I became a pro and whatnot. And just to see him, you know, prove himself in that cage, capture that belt, and then obviously the next stage was for him to go to the UFC. It's a huge motivating factor. A lot of the times people are preparing for their opponent, and really if you're a well-rounded fighter, it shouldn't matter where the fight takes place. Due to the fact that, you know, Benji has experience as an amateur, has experience as a pro, it's only going to serve him better in the fight. But, you know, the guy has the nickname The Brawler. I think there's no secret to what he wants to do, you know. I'm a well-rounded fighter, man. You can try and wrestle me. We can go to the ground. We can stand up. I got no weaknesses. If you think I got a weakness, take me there and we'll find out who's better. I got nothing but respect for the guy. But at the end of the day, man, I don't fear anybody, especially at the 125 and 135 pound division. Man, I think as every fight, every new fight progresses, I think the support has always been there, but I think it just becomes more prevalent just due to the fact that they know, he's got a fight coming up. He might not be here at home, come the first, month and the last month and a half, 2 months before the actual fight. But my wife's she's always taking care of me with my nutrition. My daughter understands. She likes to go with me to sparring sometimes. But the support is never something in question. I got all my Instagram followers that they're always hyping me up, always keeping me motivated. All my training partners, Winston. You got all these guys that are on the card, man. All these Southern California fighters are all tough. This is the proving ground for mixed martial arts right now. So. Just staying focused and motivated myself, being able to get up in those early hours, go run, go do what you got to do, hill sprints, sparring, strength and conditioning, jiu-jitsu, and then putting it all together, all my coaches just staying on me, man, just keeping me motivated, letting me know I am the best 125er out there, and, come March 28th, it's time to prove it. I don't think there's any stress going for a bonus. I think everybody wants to keep a streak alive, whether it's a win streak, a knockout streak, fight night bonus streak. Streaks are really hard to keep in this sport just due to the fact that, so diverse. You got guys that have so many skill sets. And, honestly, man, I'd love another knockout of the night. I want to keep the streak going. But, B First has been, they've liked my last two, fights, both knockouts, knockout of the night. But, at the end of the day, man, our job is to go in there and put on the best performance we can. So if I can get that knockout of the night, I'm definitely going to get that knockout. If I can get submission of the night, I'm going to get that submission. If I get fight of the night, well, then let's do it, Unfortunately, the fight of the night takes two. It doesn't take one, So, I'm sure I'm going to put on a good show, come March 28th. And I know Benji's going to be ready, so you guys just look for a hell of a fight. Ace Baker and B First Clothing, man, they're legit. I kind of like that moniker just due to the fact that be first. Don't allow your opponent to hit you first. I mean, the first one to strike, is more than likely going to be the one to win. So just stay aggressive. But definitely appreciate them sponsoring, Badbeat and everything else. So B First is obviously a great representative of what our sport stands for. Yeah, you guys can follow me at farmer_OD on Instagram, or you guys can follow me on Facebook at David Duran. You guys get at me, man. I love to have new people following me and following my journey, because I guarantee you guys will see me in the big show one day, and, I'd like to say, hey, I knew that guy before I got there, because it's like once you make it to the big show, everybody wants to get in the limousine. When you're on the bus, nobody wants to be on the bus with you, so get at me. I love all my supporters, so just look out for me. Fans can expect a hell of a fight, man. I always go out there looking for the finish. As I get better opponents, better opposition, they become more seasoned. They're more well-rounded. So, you can't expect a finish or a knockout or a submission every time. Although I do go out there and look for those things, but at the end of the day, you can guarantee to watch a good fight, a great show. I'm always out there to put on a good show. I got a lot of my close supporters that are like, man, that was a hell of a fight. That was a hell of a fight. And I get guys, girls, whoever come up, after the fight like, man, that was a hell of a fight, and that's what I strive for, because nobody wants to go in there and see a boring fight. No one wants to see somebody go in there and lay and pray, So, you come to see me fight, you're going to get a show. That's for sure. Fans can expect a hell of a fight, man. I always go out there looking for the finish. As I get better opponents, better opposition, they become more seasoned. They're more well-rounded. So, you can't expect a finish or a knockout or a submission every time. Although I do go out there and look for those things, but at the end of the day, you can guarantee to watch a good fight, a great show. I'm always out there to put on a good show. I got a lot of my close supporters that are like, man, that was a hell of a fight. That was a hell of a fight. And I get guys, girls, whoever come up, after the fight like, man, that was a hell of a fight, and that's what I strive for, because nobody wants to go in there and see a boring fight. No one wants to see somebody go in there and lay and pray, So, you know, you come to see me fight, you're going to get a show. That's for sure.